Hello, everybody. Dependent Fanatic here. We are talking Michigan basketball and how they are due to win the national championship this season in the 2026 national title game. It's the 2025-2026 season. I just want to get that out of the way as we go through this video. We're talking about coaches and how close Michigan has gotten and how much of a great program Michigan is. And when it turned from being mediocrely great to investing in the team. And we start after Bill Frieder left for Arizona State. Bill Frieder was a great coach here at Michigan. And Bo Schembechler said, "You're not going to be coaching here in the tournament if you're leaving us." He said, "No, you do not get the NCAA national championship. Not for you." It was for Steve Fisher. But Bill Frieder, after he left Michigan, only made one Sweet 16 in 8 years at Arizona State. So, props to Bo Schembechler, the former athletic director at the time. Rest in peace, Bo. But Steve Fisher made the magical run for the national title in 1989. Michigan's only one. But after that, Fisher only made one Elite Eight. After the Fab Five, who he recruited, by the way, went to back-to-back title games. So after 7 years from the 1989 national title, he was let go. But it seems it was a mistake because Brian Ellerby was the next Michigan head coach who was ousted in the second round in his first year, and 3 years later, he was 10-18 for the Wolverines. Enter Tommy Amaker, who got 6 years, yet never made the NCAA tournament. Michigan needed somebody that could bring Michigan back to where they were 18 years earlier when Frieder left and Michigan won it all. Michigan hired the perfect 3-and-D coach from West Virginia. He would learn the D later, John Beilein. In 2007, he was hired. The first 4 years were unimpressive, but to a Michigan fan, it was exalting. It was exhilarating. In year 4, he made it to a Sweet 16 for Michigan. In year 6, Michigan made it back to the national title game and lost in a thriller because of a bad call to Louisville and Rick Pitino, who later vacated their wins and their national title due to NCAA violations. In year 7, Beilein and Michigan made it back to the Elite Eight before bottoming out in year 8 of Beilein. But he came back with a vengeance for the Wolverines. In year 10, he got back to the Sweet 16. In year 11, he went back to the national title game before losing to Villanova and DiVincenzo's three-point prowess. In year 12, going to his 6th Sweet 16, that's how it ended. He decided he was going to go pro. Maybe he really thought that he could win in the NBA, or maybe he knew Michigan wasn't up to par with the NIL and recruiting that is about to take place on the horizon. Retention of players was a struggle for John Beilein. He would get 3 stars, and he would put them into the pros after 2 years. It was really getting tough. He couldn't get the continuity that he wanted, that Michigan needed to win in those times. Ironically, now nobody has continuity. Nobody. Every roster changes from year to year. Who has the team this season. Then Juwan Howard, an alum and one of the Fab Five, got the reins of a perennial Sweet 16 program and started well with Beilein's holdovers in year 1 and year 2. With COVID being in year 1 and no postseason, he made it to an Elite Eight in year 2. But years 3, 4, and 5 were terrible, getting worse every season, culminating in an 8-24 record in 2023. Michigan then looked outside the box again, like they did with John Beilein, and they found Dusty May, who took FAU to a Final Four and threw every resource behind him. It was a new program here for Michigan. NIL was no longer an issue for Michigan, as the athletic department and boosters swayed Michigan's regents to modernize in both football and basketball and down the line in all the sports. It was perfect timing for a former Bob Knight manager to come to a great Michigan program and try to get back to the ultimate goal, which for Michigan is the national title, which happened almost 36 years ago today. Dusty May brought in a whole new team in year 1, and he made the Sweet 16. After winning the Big Ten tournament and going 27-10 in year 1, in year 2, this season, he had to revamp the team again, and he did it flawlessly, going 19-1 in the Big Ten, 4 games better than the next team. Michigan is a 1 seed this season, and they are currently 33-3. Michigan's, I think it's tied for their most wins ever in a season. And they are in the Sweet 16 again for the second time under Dusty May in year 2 in 2 years. So a national title for Michigan at this point might ignite a new era for the program that could be UCLA-like under John Wooden. I'm not kidding. Maybe not 11 titles in that span, but it might be Duke under Coach K, maybe 5 titles in that span. It's going to be better than it has been. I promise you that. There has always been resources. And the pilot light has always been flickering for Michigan in this program. And now Michigan has the best new coach. He's a Wolverine in Dusty May. Alabama is next, and Michigan gets them basically in home court advantage. That's what Dusty May wanted. That's why he wanted the number 1 seed, to get home court advantage. It's in Chicago versus Alabama, and then it's either Iowa State or Tennessee, also in Chicago. Then Michigan gets a short trip home to Ann Arbor before a short trip to Indianapolis back down south for the Final Four, where there will be tons of Michigan fans. I promise you that. I wish I could go. This is the year that Michigan gets back on top after the 36-year build back from the last national championship. It will be Michigan's 9th Final Four, I believe, and they've only won 1 of those. They got to make it 2 out of 9 to make that odds better, the percentages better. They're 1-4 in title games since 1989. This is a great program. They made 9 Sweet 16s since 2010. Think about it. They're due. This Michigan basketball program has built it the right way. They have learned from their mistakes. They remember history. Dusty May has modernized it. The boosters have infused it. And the athletic directors and regents are all on board for it. The fans are here. Michigan's due this year. Let's go blue. They're going to win it all. And this is why. It's a track record that can be held up to most any program out there in the nation. Go blue.